because we saw Beetlejuice recently.
Beetlejuice.
Yes, Beetlejuice.
You
Did he
said
pop up? No, we said it 3 times. Anyways, it was really good. We saw it, and we didn't know. Never, we did not see it in IMAX, but we saw it in like these really cool fucking seats. I don't know why
we saw it at the Cinemark theaters. Like those really comfortable chairs. They have a really good surround sound. I'm trying to get him to understand that IMAX is essentially a really good surround sound system, but
it's also the visual and also the spacing of how everything is and the way that it's shot as well. Also, he was just real quick. He was shitting on IMAX before we went to go see Furiosa, and then afterwards, like, I understand. I was like, okay, there's times. It's not like we're gonna go see every movie in IMAX, but to see certain movies in IMAX, it elevates it. Especially someone like Christopher Nolan that shoots in that. I forget what the fucking format is, but shoots in that format essentially. And you see it, like it's so noticeable.
It's because he's like a modern director and knows how to shoot properly with like
No, but what I'm saying
stuff.
though is that if like all I'm trying to say is that when it comes to IMAX, to get the most out of it, to me it's about seeing the proper films there. Like,
I do agree.
wish I would have saw Alien in IMAX. I think that would have been.
That could have been really good in IMAX.
Because also
actually.
the thing
the
is,
sound
IMAX.
Oh, actually, I don't even want to hear it because the sound that some of the facehuggers make and like, I would like to hear like the bone crunching and the gore.
But see, here's the thing with IMAX, right? Is that when it comes to IMAX, you're also seeing it with essentially enthusiasts. You're getting that same crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I get that. I do get that.
Because like
cinephiles.
Yeah, if we go to like some other like a star like a fucking a Regal or something.
A regular Regal.
Yeah, you're like you never know who you're gonna get with. You might get people that just talk or people that just don't get the jokes. Like when I went to go see I'm going off a tangent. When I went to go see Deadpool for the second time, it was like I just watched Ryan Reynolds bomb for 2 hours. Like no one got anything. No one got the fucking jokes. Yeah. That's one of the positives to go see it in IMAX. You're seeing it with your crowd.
Or opening night.
Yeah. Or opening night. But what I'm saying is like if you go to IMAX, even if it's like a week after, you're seeing it with an enthusiast. Someone that's like, I'm willing to pay the extra, what is it, $10-15?
Yeah.
To see it on the biggest screen possible.
It's like basically $30 per ticket.
Yeah.
Basically. For sure. Yeah, I agree. Beetlejuice was a really good throwback film too, though.
Yeah.
In like the vein of like, I just had so much fun at just watching it and laughing my ass off, and felt like we kind of almost went back in time a little bit because Alien was in theaters, and then Beetlejuice again. I don't know, man. It was a lot of fun. Although they're like now that exactly, which is a great thing.
Yes.
But like now that I've had time away from it, even though I do want to rewatch it because I did have a lot of fun, I did notice there was a lot going on, and there was some plot threads where I'm like, you could have taken that out. You didn't really need it. Like Beetlejuice's wife, you could have taken that subplot out, and I don't think it would have impacted the film as much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think it's like a killer intro for a character. It's just a shame that I don't think she was used to her potential.
No, she basically just walked around
looking
people
hot,
off,
sucking their souls out,
and then
I would have
proceeding to leave the screen, and then you're going back to whatever Beetlejuice is doing or the main characters are doing.
I've never been so jealous of Danny DeVito in my entire life.
In the movie for like 30 seconds.
When I saw, sign me up. That's all I'm saying. I'm ready.
But I totally agree. We went to go see it with the diehard fan, so I felt like I couldn't give any criticism
quite
of
yet.
it. I did give the movie. I would say it's an 8 out of 10. That's what I give it an 8 out of 10.
I'll give it
mainly because it's like I said, very Tim Burton. He stuck to his guns essentially. Like if you watch any type of Tim Burton movie, you're gonna be like if you didn't know, like if you just saw a clip, right? You're gonna be like, oh, Tim Burton did that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You just there's just like that. I don't even know animatronic type. Sets that he does, and Tim Burton essentially.
And like the practical sets, the practical effects, I loved so much.
Yeah, and like if it's like an alien or like a monster type, they're always like in like 30 frames per second, type of like hitchy type movement.
The creative costumes that they had for the characters that were dead, I loved a lot. Throwback to the first film again. I really liked. Should we just go into spoilers at this point?
Yeah,
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it
matters.
matters.
When like Jenna Ortega saw her dad again, and the piranhas were sticking out of him, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, you just
I loved
keep
that.
the way that you died essentially. Like if you got, like the dude that got his head bit off, like his head's just bit off.
Yeah.
Like you're just living the rest of
Yeah.
your or your underworld life like that.
Yeah. I love that because it's like whimsical but also grotesque, but it has heart to it,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. And like Beetlejuice could easily go into this territory where it's like too much. Does that make sense? Or it could
Yeah.
be too gory, like hard R. But I like this fine line of like, this is a little grotesque, but it's whimsical and it's got really cool practical effects. Like I just had a
Yeah.
lot of fun with it. You know, and that's what I wanted at the end of the day.
yeah,
I feel like when
I agree.
I got what I wanted in terms of a legacy sequel, I think it does really good. I think that there have been way worse. I think it probably would have to be top 5 best legacy sequels in my opinion. But to be fair, that's a very low. Like that's not a high
Low
bar.
bar, yeah.
That's not a high. You know, yeah.
I
So
do
like,
think I mean, I'd have to rewatch it, but just off the top of my head, I think the first one is better than the
I
second one.
rewatched it and I actually do agree.
Because also just to go on the note with the like he was saying with the bride or his ex-wife, I guess, the other character that gets outed to be the villain, both of their like deaths essentially are very like what's the word? Like they just it just kind of happens out of nowhere,
It was
like a little bit an ex machina moment. That's what
God.
it feels like.
Why can't I think of the fucking words? It's like I can't
I'm
even
pretty
speak
sure it's
English.
ex machina. That's what it's called.
That's a movie.
No, it is a movie, but I think it's also a term that when the heroes just kind of get saved like out of the blue, like by just because the script wanted it to be that way essentially. Because the writers wrote it that
Well,
way.
I did feel like their deaths were very anticlimactic.
Yeah, anticlimactic. Like
That's the word
it
I would
just-
mainly use for
it
sure.
just kind of boop, there it is. They just
Yeah.
died. There's no like
There was like no big confrontation with
Yeah.
Beetlejuice's ex or anything like that.
they both basically essentially fall into a hole. Both of them basically fall into a hole.
Yeah,
And then you're like, all right, that's it.
that's it, I guess. I mean, I guess they could do. I actually would like to see a third one. I think if they do a third one right, they can make all these plot threads that were in the second one work in the third one. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Or make, you know, I don't know, but I do agree. I think the first one is better, just because it had a certain feel to it. But also Winona Ryder, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
I agree.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, this is where my goth fetish comes from, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And she was so funny in it too.
Yeah, she
In the
was.
beginning, when she's like, everything's going crazy, and she's like, I feel a presence. Like that bit had me dying, dude. It was a fun time. I
yeah,
definitely
it was a
recommend
fun
it.
movie, very Tim Burton.
Yeah.
But only real critique, like I said, is just when it comes to the villains or like they just get dealt with in just the most anticlimactic way, essentially.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
I feel like because essentially Beetlejuice is also one of them because his is also a little anticlimactic. It's like, oh, out of the contract, you voided it by doing this, and he's just like, he just goes back to the world.
but it's also like, dog, aren't you supposed to be like this demon who like knows how to cut corners and shit, and who kind of just got bested
Yeah.
very easily.
Yeah,
Like there
very
was no
easily.
pushback. He was just like, "Oh, that's right," and then boom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like again, I still had a lot of fun, but I can still critique it from like a story angle.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, so
I agree.
yeah. So you rated it 8 out of 10?
I give it 8 out of 10. Like I said, very Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was just good fun. It's really what it was.
I agree.